Hello and welcome to the Den. It's Friday! And my name is Eric. Or is it? This week on the Den, we've been talking about stuff that's in the news. And something that's been blowing up my Facebook feed has been the controversy around Facebook's crackdown and enforcement of their real name policy. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's a very complicated issue, so I'm going to try and break it down into some component pieces. So, Facebook has a policy, and they've had this for a very long time, where you, when you sign up to have a personal profile on Facebook, have to give your real name, your given name, the name that's on your government-issued IDs and all of that jazz. But a lot of people don't do this. I mean, people who use nicknames or performers who have stage names or people for any number of reasons, like, put funky stuff in their Facebook name and or they do it as protests or whatever, Sometimes people just don't want to be found. There's a lot of different reasons why people make up names to be on Facebook. But you're not technically allowed to do that. So, over the last couple weeks, something's been happening on Facebook, and it's actually been happening predominantly to people in the LGBT community. So, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which is a drag nun organization that operates around the world and does charitable works in the name of promulgating perpetual joy, have been targeted because their personal profiles on Facebook are under their sister names. So Sister Roma Wednesday was the one who's really kind of brought this to the forefront. So Sister Roma and all of the sisters go by their sister names, and they have Facebook profiles where they're in their sister face and their habits and everything. And these are the profiles that they use on Facebook for their life, because being a sister is a vocational calling. It's not just like some crazy bullshit that you do on the weekends. This is like a very serious commitment that these people take. And they've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity. And they developed these personas of sisters, and they have a following. So when Sister Roma got her Facebook takedown notice and said that they were going to be deactivating her personal profile page because that isn't who she is, she was super pissed because Sister Roma is who she is. And Catholic nuns, when they take on new names, aren't targeted in the same way. So she was up in arms about it. And so the sisters and a lot of other organizations have really banded together to go and talk to Facebook about what the hell is going on right now. So, because this has been happening to more than just sisters. This has happened to other drag performers who go under a performance name. This has happened to trans women. This has happened to people who have indigenous names and they don't look real enough because they don't look Western enough. And people are actually forced to submit to Facebook a photograph of their government-issued ID with the name that's on their government-issued ID, and forced to change their Facebook profile to fit their government-issued ID name. And for some people, that's fine. But for other people, that's not who they are. That's just not at all who they are. Like Sister Roma. Sister Roma is Sister Roma, and everyone knows her as that. They don't know her by the male name that she's got outside of sister drag. She is Sister Roma, and that is it. And this has happened to a lot of performers, and it's happened, to a lot of people. So this week, Sister Roma and a whole bunch of other LGBT advocates went to Facebook. This happened just yesterday, on Wednesday of this week. And basically, Facebook said you are not allowed to have a personal profile that's under an alias or a stage name. You have to have a fan page. And there's a lot of problems with that because, for one, your personal profile, even if you do use your given name, your birth name or the name of record that's on your driver's license or whatever, if you do use that, then nobody can fucking find you in your personal profile. And your personal profile actually reaches way more people than a fan page does. And the whole model for how fan pages work on Facebook is kind of based on extorting advertising money from brands. Because basically fan pages are brand pages, and they expect you to have as much money as Coca-Cola to kind of pay off Facebook to reach your full audience. And you shouldn't have to be extorted for money to use their service. So people are still pissed off, but the conversation is ongoing. So there's not been any real resolution to this. Facebook is not kind of budging. The sisters are still raising hell, as they do all so well. And I, for one, wish them the best of luck. I think that Facebook's page structure is completely fucking broken. And, I mean, we can see this on Men in the Den, where we have, 1,500 followers on our Facebook page, but only 100 or 200 people will see any particularly given post. So, I mean, we can see these numbers, and we know that we're only reaching a fraction of our audience through Facebook, but Facebook is still the biggest traffic driver to our YouTube channel. So, here's a word of advice to everybody that's on Facebook. For you who have your, ID-oriented names on your page, that's great. Good for you. But think about how you connect with other people on Facebook. If you connect with somebody who is your friend on Facebook and you want to be their friend on Facebook and they suddenly disappear one day, how will you talk to that person? And if you want to follow that person on their fan page, Facebook might suppress their fan page from you. So what you need to do as a viewer of Men of the Den is to go to our fan page at Men of the Den, facebook.com/Men of the Den, and click on Get Notifications, because Get Notifications is the only way that you will see all of the posts coming through from Men of the Den. So if you like Men of the Den, and I know that you do because you're watching this video, please go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Men of the Den, and click on Get Notifications. If you do that for all of the pages that you really want to follow, you will be so much happier. You will see all of the things that you really want to see. And while it's not the best solution, because Facebook fan pages are not a two-way street, people, can comment and can share to some degree, but it's not the same kind of interchange where you get notices that mail is coming in from people. So please go to facebook.com and follow the people that you love, support the sisters and others in their quest to get Facebook to drop the real name policy, because other social media avenues have ditched it. Google Plus went through this whole drama not that long ago, and it was probably just last year that Google Plus gave up their real name policy, and they figured out the reasons why it was a bad idea. And Facebook, if you're listening, you need to figure out that this is a bad idea. So there you go. So that's what's going on. Facebook has a real name policy. They've always had it. And now people are targeting LGBT profiles and, reporting them as not using their real name. And something's wrong with that. So please go follow Sister Roma. Find her on Facebook. Tell her that you support her, and use the hashtag MyNamesIs when you're talking about this, because it's really super important to get the word out. So If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow Men of the Den on all of our social media sites. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. And we also have our WordPress page, which we just started, which is menoftheden.com. And I still need to go back and do a whole bunch of updating to that. But you can follow us on all of that stuff. So please give us likes, give us shout outs, like come and talk to us on all of our things. And with that, I hope to see you next week. My name is Fritter, and you should know that. Cheers!